Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I got involved in the pitches, but I feel quite strongly about starting young businesses and helping them. So that's why I ask the questions I do. I see businesses come to me all the time, and you've got to ask the hard questions because you actually save time down at the end of the day. You actually protect people. So I have a book with stuff in. NK mailed me and he said, please can you come through and do this DNA of a startup versus an SMME. So it's quite a hard topic to talk about. I suppose I should tell you who I am, hey? Right, so my name's Mark. I'm a partner at an agency here in Durban called Sugar. We manage various accounts, so we do through the line, which is TV, radio, print, digital, apps, everything. Our brands are Jägermeister, Bidvest Insurance, Expander, Bosch & Dahl, Bacardi. We seem to be pretty good at drinking, to be honest with you. I don't know where that came from, but we are quite good at it. And we deliver everything. So people come to us with a business problem. How do I get more people to like me? Okay? We say, they don't like you. You're an insurance company. We say, it's about driving a business results. And that's why you've got to look at every business. Like, what is the ultimate goal? Like, you can't really just do stuff because it's cool. Because at the end of the day, there isn't money to do things that is just cool. Okay? Cool has to have a function. It has to have a purpose. And we try and drive for that result. My background, I grew up in business. My dad was an entrepreneur. He was bankrupt 3 times. I made irons, ironing boards, fertilizer that came in a funny, this thing, electric lamps. You get those electric lamps and you touch them and the dimmer goes. I wouldn't buy the ones I made because I probably killed most people. And golf balls, he imported golf balls from Florida. That's kind of where my background came from. I then went across to the UK. I ended up at Yahoo and then came back to South Africa, spent some time overseas, swimming around with some strange fish, and then came back and started working here for an insurance company, funny enough. And I did something online, went quite well, and then I started my own business. We've been in Sugar for 3 years now, and yeah, we've got some really cool clients and we do some cool things for them. So, let's talk about the DNA of a startup versus an SMME. It's quite a long title for today's thing. So I thought, okay, how do I break it down? So who knows what DNA stands for? That's right. I was like, wow. Okay. So DNA is this helix thing, and it's made up of polymer nucleotides. Okay? Very complicated stuff. But we know that it makes common cold, it makes you sick, and it is responsible for everything on Earth, because that's where we all come from. So what happens to DNA when change is introduced? Has anybody seen X-Men? Okay, things mutate. And that's kind of where things have started. SMMEs, the old days, okay, the things the banks approve. Okay, with multiple business plans this thick. I swear to God, I saw a business plan this thick 2 weeks ago. I asked him if it was a pillow. Because he spent 6 months writing this business plan. Anyway, it was very interesting. So with change, strange things happen. We've all seen X-Men. We all know what happens. We know that people can shoot things out of various pieces of them, and they change colors, etc. So we, as we stand here, are ringing. So when people introduce the internet to the world, I don't know if you know what happens. In 2011, there was a global study of 13 countries, okay, across the world. They found out that the standard of living in any country will go up by 10% when you introduce and give access to information and the internet. Think about it. What is possible when people know information? And that's kind of where the startup and SMME starts to break down. If you think about it, it's the access to the information that is critical. Okay? And it's what defines it. So, let me just carry on here. So with that 10% increase in productivity, small business, any business, okay, experiences two things they found. One, they ship twice as much stuff. Twice as much? Okay, they ship more stuff. They make more stuff. They make stuff that's better because they know what's out there, right? Their productivity in the business goes up 10%. Simple, right? Because you're not doing everything by hand. Quite easy. That's what happens. So we are here at this point in time, at this change period, and our DNA as SMMEs is mutating into startups. That's what's happened. The cool thing is we don't quite know what's going to come out the other side, okay? Because you don't know what happens to X-Men. They just go in and strange things happen and you get a new one. So that's where it is. So now we have this flash new name, startup. I'm a startup. What's the difference? Let me tell you the difference in a name. And it's a story about a lady at United Airlines. So this lady was checked into the flight, and the guy who does the flight attendant checks in and he announces to everyone that the first class is no longer available. This lady goes into complete panic. She's got her first class ticket, starts having asthma attacks. She starts going, I cannot sit in economy. I cannot deal with it. So he says, sorry, ma'am, you misheard me. I said the entire flight is first class. Situation resolved. All calm. So it really doesn't matter what your name is, okay, what you call yourself. You have to know the right thing to say. And I'm going to say, not the right thing to say, but the right thing to ask. And this is kind of where I see it happening more and more each day. What is the question that you're asking? So what you'll find, and it's quite simple, what are you putting into Google? Who finished school before 1994 here? Okay, me. All right? You have to respect me because I passed school without Google. Okay? I did. I had my own Google. It was called the library. So think about it. What are the questions that you're putting in? Are you looking for SME funding? Are you looking for SME business plans? Are you putting in that qualifier into the Google saying startup? Okay, go look. I did it tonight. Okay, SMME, 410,000 odd hits here in South Africa. Okay, cool. Startup, 155 million. Okay, more competition, but probably more nuggets of information that are going to apply today. All right, so that's what you need to think. That's how our DNA is mutating. Are you asking the right question? What is that question? Are you prefixing it with the right thing? Do you know what you're looking for? Startup. Startup videos. Okay. Startup marketing. Startup apps. Startup landing pages. Simple. Just ask the right question and you will get the next advice. So let's talk about startups. And I'm going to go through all the things here because I wrote them all down. So startups achieve product market fit. Okay, that means they work. All right, they find something and they work. Startups, we all know, you need a laptop, you need Wi-Fi, you need coffee, and you probably need some sneakers, and you're away. Okay. Also, you need a logo generator, because, it's quite easy. Generate a logo on Squarespace, 10 minutes, you're done. The key to startups versus SMMEs, and this is the one thing that I find very liberating about startups, is that failure is actually a success. Okay? The guys stood up here tonight. Okay? They didn't fail. They all succeeded. Right? Because they eliminated things that they needed to test. They eliminated things that they didn't know. They got feedback, which things they hadn't thought about. It's a success. And it's not only happening here. I don't know if you know, but there are fuck-up nights. Okay? Just like this, across the world. And you go there and you tell them, listen, this is how I screwed up. Okay? It's desensitizing it. All right? It's removing the stigma around failure. Now, why is that important? Let me show you what happens with an SMME. Okay? And I've been here. I wrote these business plans. Okay? This is what I majored in at varsity. So, we all here, you have to write a business plan. Okay. Who knows Mike Tyson? Okay. Mike Tyson actually said something quite clever once. He said, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. And that's how business plans work. Because you go, hey, I've got this beautiful business plan, and it's lovely, and I've got clients, and life's great, and okay, I don't have clients. Now what? The business plan doesn't account for that. You can't go back to it. It's not a reference manual. So that's kind of, and that's what we were taught. Business plans, you have to have them. Who knows FedEx? Okay, FedEx. Who knows the story of how FedEx started? No, it was a guy, he started it and he built it up with airplanes, delivering stuff, etc. The idea came when he was at varsity. He was at Yale. And he wrote his business plan. And he submitted it in a business plan, as an assignment. And he said he got a C. The next thing I see about businesses is some SMEs in particular. And people become this, and they don't even think outside the box, is they want a business card. You need a business card because you need to arrive. Okay, well, let me tell you about business cards. Unless you're in Japan, they mean nothing. Because I've got a whole pile here, I'll hand them out later. The thing with business cards is that you have to go and pay, you have to go and get them done. And they take you away from the time that you need to be spending on your idea. It's all hassle. The client is not going to not give you the job or not hire you, or you're not going to get the sale because you don't have a business card. All right? People do things with business. They talk to each other. And that's why you need to get out and not redesign your business card 3 times. So, also, there is an app for that. Okay? Get it. Keep it on your phone. Send the person your details. Because let me tell you how many business cards go from a pocket into an email program so that they can be mailed. Exactly 0. All right? They all live in wallets, and then they become receipts. And then they become notes. So think about that. Don't think about the normal stuff. The next thing I see about SMEs, and it happens all the time, is that there's a difference. Like, my mom said it would be a good idea for me to get into this business. Really? Your mom's great at raising you? Yes, she was. But what does she know about apps? What does she know about selling online software? What does she know about your passion, truly? What does she know that's going to get you out of bed every day? Okay? Or something that she can sell to 15 friends. It doesn't matter. You're going to need a scalable, you're going to need a bigger market. So you can't just take it on that. And that's the old school way of doing things. It's go, cool, I'm going to build it. And they will come because it's amazing. It doesn't work that way. How many web pages are there in the world? Any idea? Probably like 600 million, billion, something like that. If you build a website, they're not going to come. Promise. So, the last thing is, with SMMEs, is that there's a failure stigma. And it's quite, your business failed. So what? But with SMMEs, and I've actually seen it in my own family, it really pulled my dad down. And enough so that in Japan, actually, it's actually a leading cause of suicide. So that's why the startup, the change of decriminalizing, if you will, failure and turning it into success is actually saving lives. Was that too much to draw? Too close? Okay. Let's talk about learning. Now, every startup I've been in, and I've been 2 or 3, and SMEs, is that in an SME, a mistake is called school fees. You have to pay your school fees. You make a mistake. In a startup, It's learning. Okay, it's a difference. School fees you pay, it's something you don't want. It's like insurance. Okay, I talk about insurance a lot because I deal with it. But learning is something that you take in and you use again. School fees, you don't use them again. They go and they come. So that's what you see about a startup. If you're going to have a startup and you're going to call yourself a startup, you need to be genetically programmed to learn. Because that is the key that will separate you from an SMME. Because they become big and they become unwieldy. Because they don't learn. You have people saying, this is the way we do it, this is the way we got big, and now there's too much for us to leave. We can't just try something new, which is what you will find in a startup. So, with startups, and NK is actually starting something, one of the keys that you will find in your success is mentors. Now, I've got a quote here, okay, and it says, "We grew as kids without fathers, yet we found our fathers on wax, in books, and on record." Anybody have any idea who said that? Jay-Z said that. Okay? Jay-Z said that. And what he was talking about was that right now, you have no better chance. Sorry? No. Maybe not. Maybe not. I just need my glasses. Just push them back here. But there's no better time. And what Jay-Z was referring to, and they've actually proven it, is that having a mentor, somebody who can help you, somebody who you can learn from, can actually help shortcut you to success. Okay? And it was one of the things I actually wanted to talk about earlier. But like, it's an amazing way to fast track yourself. Now the key is, there are not that many mentors around, are they? Okay? They're hard to find, are they? No, they're not. They're on YouTube. They write books. What was the last book you read? Okay. So, just as an example, there's a guy in America called Louis C.K. He's a comedian. It took him 15 years to get on Saturday Night Live. 15 years of working hard. The last year was when he got a mentor. And all he did was study what somebody did beforehand by reading the guy's autobiography, studying his moves, watching his stand-up routines. And all of a sudden, he was an overnight success. The key here is you need to learn from books. You need to learn from what's been done. And that's the great thing about putting in startup learnings. That's the point of the fuck-up nights, is that you can shortcut yourself. You can go forward quicker, because that's what we're all about, eh? So I want to talk a little story, and it's a guy called Fortune. And Fortune worked for us. He was a landscaper, gardener, and we were moving out the area. Fortune said, well, what am I going to do? And we said, okay, and we had a spare computer. And I gave it to him. And I spent an afternoon sitting with Fortune, and I showed him landscaping tutorials on YouTube. Fortune runs his own business now. Okay? Because he learns things. Like, he's amazing. Look, please don't get me wrong. It had nothing to do with me. He's an amazing craftsman. Okay? Like, he crafts gardens. Simple. Okay? He's not, where's Zanelli? He's not available. He runs his own business. But the point is, the access to the information changed his life. Okay? And what can you do with that? What products can you do that will help people do that? So, and Fortune was ready to learn. Everyone's ready to learn. But you need to be programmed you need to think about it all the time. What am I going to learn from this situation? It also puts you in a different mindset. I'm here to learn. Okay, I have to go to the next page now. There's a story on the internet. Go to bikeshed.org, okay, and it's a great parable story. This guy wrote a story about bike sheds. And he says, this is what happens in a corporate, and this is what happens in an SMME. And I've seen it time and time again. So when you're building a nuclear bomb, okay, I haven't built many, but when you're building something that's excessively complicated, and you're the only guy in the room who really knows how to do it, people go, okay, gold. Or if you go, all right? But if you're making a sandwich, everyone's going to give you an opinion. Okay? And it'll actually take longer to make the sandwich than to make the nuclear bomb. So that's what you need to focus on. Like Steve Jobs, okay? He was kind of an irritating person. Okay? He wasn't that friendly to people who worked for him. He was known as an arsehole. The guys had spent 6 months working on the iPod. And he walked in, they had one prototype. They had one that they had crafted. And he said, there's too much air in it. They went, well, that's the smallest it can go. It's not small enough. There's air in it. They're like, well, it's air. He said, there's air in it. And he threw it in the fish tank. Bubbles came out. He said, look, I told you there's air in it. Make it smaller. So the whole point of that is you need to focus on what is absolutely critical. If you're going to get distracted by the bike shed and the sandwich and other people distracting you, which happens in SMEs a lot, you get into what's something called analysis paralysis. And you don't do fucking anything. Okay? I've seen it recently in a business that we actually work with. 8 months, they've decided on a marketing plan. Have they done anything? No. But don't worry, the branding is lovely. So let's talk about branding. Now, everyone's here, business cards, we've spoken about, and you would think he's an ad agency guy. He should love branding. Okay? Where do you see branding? Where does branding belong? It belongs on cows. Okay? It protects them from being stolen. Because if your product that you are going to make, your thing that you are going to sell, is so amazing and is so right for your market, you don't need branding. Because people will remember it. Okay, the point of branding is so that people remember your thing, which is average. So if you make something that is amazing, do you need branding? No. Think about it. Look at, when you go out, you look at brands, okay? Look at them. They're generally trying to sell you something, and they're trying to interrupt you. So look at it from that perspective. Okay, well, last one. Then we're done. The last two things that I want to speak about with startups, one is vision and the other one is responsibility. Now, I'll tell you a story about vision. What I said to Shane earlier, he said, oh, we'll do X, Y, and Z. I said, it's the wrong question. How are you going to put your service on 10 million Android phones tomorrow? It's a different question, requires a different result. And it requires different thinking. And what you'll find is that if your goal is too small, and what you'll find often in an SME, okay, cool, we need to make budget, we need to do X, Y, and Z. If you're going to look at a goal that is going to change the world, your thinking will be different in how you're going to get there. So while I was working for this insurance company, they came up with an idea. They were going to open a bank. Okay? Which is great, because there's 6 million unbanked people in South Africa. It's great. The question that I got told to solve was, how do I put 10 million cards in the market overnight? Okay? I can't just go and run a billboard for that. See, so it forces your thinking to be different. So if you're going to ask yourself, what do I need to do to get to the next stage? Set yourself a higher goal. Set yourself a goal that almost seems completely out of sync. Set something, because your thinking on how to achieve that will be different. Your way that you handle it will be different. Okay, I did come up with an idea. It didn't work. It's okay. Went on to the next one. That's it, guys. That's all I have tonight.